Sir, now, here's Pledge.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm James Pledger. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. We're going to get you ready for National League Championship Series, Game 2, between the Phillies and I'm here at the bottom of the hour, right after Extra Innings with Pledger. I'll take you up to the pregame show. Thanks for joining me this evening. Whether you're listening on 94.1, listening at SA Sports Star, or joining via our YouTube stream at sasportstar.com, however may you be paying attention to the show, thank you for joining me this evening, as we had quite the game last night between the Cowboys and Chargers on Monday Night Football. The Cowboys head into the bye week at 4-2, and while there are a lot of questions, on the flip side of things, a lot of questions were answered. We had questions about Mike McCarthy's red zone offense. Well, they went 2 of 4 in the red zone last night. So some questions answered. We saw some motion out of the offense. But one of the biggest questions I had that I asked each and every single one of you was, with the amount that they put into that 49ers game, knowing it was more than just a game, knowing that they had circled it, knowing that things had been going the way they were going for the Dallas Cowboys, and after getting punched in the face like that, after making that game more than it was, what would the mental state of the Cowboys be following that? How would they rebound? And typically the Cowboys rebound well after losses, but this was a loss followed by a team that also kind of had them circled. We heard before the game, Simi Fehoko said that Kellen Moore wanted to put 100 on them. So there was a lot to this game, and I was wondering if the Cowboys were going to have a hangover, if there was going to be anything left in the tank, or if they were going to kind of be flat this week because of everything that they had put in to that San Francisco 49ers game. And they answered the call. Offensively, they got things done in the red zone. You saw some new things that you hadn't to this point. There was more motion. It's amazing how easy motion can make things on an offense to help just even be an identifier for quarterbacks and everything you're doing. So the motion that we saw seemed like a nice addition to the offensive game plan. And the fact that Dak Prescott got to use his legs, and I enjoy Dak using his legs. It helps so much with this offense, with everything that's involved. And Dak himself got to use his legs.
I'd say it's how the game unfolded. A little bit of maybe a conscious effort by myself. Just coming off of last week, realizing that maybe that's something I could use, we could use in this sense. And then obviously, I mean, those guys had some great coverage at the beginning of the play, and Mike always is preaching about the 2.3, and guys did a great job of coming open after it, staying alive, offensive line, keeping their bodies on someone, giving me a chance to get out in different lanes. And so kind of how it played, but I think it's something that can benefit us.
I think it makes things so much easier when you're able to play 11-on-11 football by having the quarterback just be a threat. I'm not saying he has to run all the time. I'm just saying make him a threat in the running game to where the defense does have to be aware of the situation. And by doing that, that helped the Cowboys offense the other night. And you saw it, especially on his 18-yard touchdown run. And Dak won the only one, talking about him using his legs that night. After the game, Mike McCarthy also commented about Dak using his legs to not only be a part of the offense, but help extend plays.
Well, I think if you just look at the design of their defense, I mean, their edge rushers are extremely wide. So they're, going into it and how some of the things we wanted to do inside was, to focus on trying to keep those B gaps open. So He did a good job of taking that, trusting his feet, coming out of there, extending plays. I thought he played extremely well above the 2.3 second mark, and is obviously needed. So, but that's part of the issue. He played a 3-4, the wide rushers, and this is probably as wide as we've seen all year. So, it limits you to do some things to get him out on the edge. So, stepping up, up and out. I thought he did a really nice job of that tonight.
What say you? 656 ESPN 210-656-3776, or you can always comment along at SA Sports YouTube channel. Lloyd D says the Bolts had it. Staley let it go. Look, Staley's not long for the Chargers. That's an actual firing I could see in season, to where they actually hand the reins over to Kellen Moore as the interim head coach there, to where he kind of gets his first crack. He got an interview last year, and he's been a hot name in the past. It would be something that I wouldn't put it past seeing happen. And if the Kellen thing doesn't work out as the interim head coach, it's easy for them to move on and turn, I would imagine, to a name like a Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator that is in Detroit with the Lions, with the way that they played last year and then are playing this year. You look at a team over the past calendar year that is the hottest team in football. It is the Detroit Lions. They closed out last season extremely strong. If not for their very, very, very poor 1-7 start, they would have been one of the ones in the playoffs, and probably one of the scarier teams in the playoffs the way they were playing. And this year, defense is playing even better, and the Lions look like one of the best teams in the NFC all of a sudden. But I got to give it to the Cowboys. I was wondering about it, and I also had a question about the Cowboys as we talk about questions that they had answered. I had questions about how they would fare in a close game. Every game had been just wildly different. They either blew teams out and there was no opportunity or chance or anything for the Cowboys with pressure on them from the kickoff, or they got jumped on from the gun, and then there was nothing for them in the second half of the game. I wonder how they would handle nerves, situations, when a game came down to the wire this season, because none of them had. And it was a question I had, and they answered it. They rose to the occasion. They played well. They made the plays when it counted. The Chargers, while I like that team, while I like the talent on that team, it's not a good team. They don't play well. And I've said this before in previous seasons, Justin Herbert feels a lot like a stat pattern at the end of games. Bolts get behind big. All of a sudden, there's a massive comeback by Justin Herbert. There's a lot of numbers late, but his numbers feel empty in a sense. Justin Herbert's going to have to prove it on the field in games early. And it's a question he's going to have to answer. He just got paid. Dak Prescott, at least, that was his 20th fourth quarter come from behind win. At least we've seen it out of Dak Prescott. There are a lot of questions. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot to like. He's a good looking quarterback aesthetically. But man, every time you watch Justin Herbert play, you're underwhelmed in a sense, because it feels like he just doesn't get it done every time that you play him. And there's so much left on the field. And part of that may be play calling, part of it may not. Another question that we've had all year long, Cowboys run defense. And my goodness, you thought with Austin Eckler coming back that the Chargers were going to have a field day. Man, I'll tell you, that Cowboys run defense looked very, very good on Monday night. They answered the question. They got things. And I'll tell you, the Cowboys, they have a couple of the best edge players when it comes to edge defenders. Week 6, the highest graded edge defenders in week 6 were DeMarcus Lawrence, according to PFF, who graded out as a 91. Tuli Tupelo, who is the Chargers defensive lineman, he graded out as a 90. And then in third's Micah Parsons at 89.6. Those are your edge defenders in week 6. By the way, fifth on that list is Will Anderson Jr. of the Texans at 85.7. The other impressive stat, because everybody was talking about Micah Parsons nowhere to be found. Micah Parsons nowhere to be found until he was needed. He made an impact when it mattered the most. And Micah Parsons' 93.1 pass rush grade in the fourth quarter this season is first in the NFL, according to PFF. Micah's showing up when it matters. Late in the game, he's making plays, and he made the play when he absolutely needed to. The Cowboys had just taken the lead, and I know I was watching it going, the Chargers are going to drive down the field, and they are either going to win this game or they are at least going to send it to overtime, giving them a chance to win it. Cowboys fans, you had to have that same thought process in your head, and it wasn't the case. The defense stepped up big all night, especially in the final moments when it mattered most. And for a team whose identity is on the defensive side of the ball, that may be the catalyst you need heading into a bye week as this team gets ready to create its second half run. Just saying. This is Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm taking you all the way up to the pregame for the NLCS between the Phillies and Diamondbacks. It's coming up at 6:30 at the bottom of the hour. But next, the weird play calling at the end of the first half and the rest of the NFL, as we saw, including the Houston Texans with a big win heading into the bye week. 3-3, just a game back. Should we be talking playoffs with them all of a sudden? We'll discuss next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Awesome Tickets Pro Football Pick'em Challenge on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your shot at $50,000 nationally, while weekly winners locally get a $50 gift card to Five Oaks Ace Hardware on Thousand Oaks. At the end of the season, locally, the best overall record wins the San Antonio Grand Prize of $1,000 worth of tickets to any event from Awesome Tickets. Sign up today at sasportstar.com.
Guys, your testosterone level can impact your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Book your testosterone level check at Revive Men's Health San Antonio. They're the local experts with guaranteed treatments for low T and ED. There are no lab fees. All your tests are included, and many patients find Revive more affordable than their insurance deductibles and copays. Book your testosterone level check today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Moments like seeing my son's team cheer him on mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Your small business is always top of mind. Well, top of your mind. To get it to the top of other people's minds, you need to get your name out front, which is where Staples Print and Marketing Services can put it. A yard sign over there, brochures right here, a banner up there. In fact, your business's message could appear anywhere. And right now at Staples, get $100 off your print purchase of $250 or more. Make a splash with your small business print and marketing materials at Staples. Ends 11/4. Visit staples.com/print for details.
It's time for the fall haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the fall haul at Northern Tool. Back up the truck for the season's biggest event and save on generators, power tools, trailers, and more. Shop in store or at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
Wine and more you find this Halloween.
Me thirsty.
Oh, hey Frankenstein. Did you enjoy that Cabernet?
Oh, good. What margarita?
Well, all the villagers are raving about this tequila.
Ooh,
And we have it at the lowest price in town.
economical.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds offer big, bold flavors like sea salt and cracked black pepper, spicy dill, and Korean barbecue. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein, bacony crunch. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at HEB today. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous. Learn more at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Appreciate y'all riding along with me, catching up on some of the comments. Goldfinger123 says, saw several 4-down stops by the Dallas defense. Yes, you did. They came up big, especially when they needed to. It's hard to argue that. James says, don't sleep on the offense. Dak put on a clinic against a top 31 defense. Best 3-point win he's ever seen, as I see him wearing a Chiefs jersey. Yeah, listen, sometimes you got to win ugly. I saw the Chiefs have to do that against the Jets, a team that Dallas housed. Not all games are equal. I get it, but it's very important. Kyle asks, is Dak an elite quarterback again this week or nah? Nah. Look, Dak looked good. That's as far as I'm going. Dak looked good this week. He didn't look great. He didn't look elite. He looked good. He did what he needed to do to get the win, and the defense carried the tone the rest of the way. he got the ball to his playmakers finally, and CeeDee Lamb. Brandon Cooks, who'd been on the milk carton, finally got some plays in. This was interesting, though. Earlier today on 105.3 The Fan, Jerry had his weekly hit with Sean and RJ. And they asked him about his thoughts on the receiving group with CeeDee Lamb having a huge game a day after or a week after, feeling frustrated and whatnot. And this was his response because he was specifically asked about CD's bounce back performance and the wide receiver group.
Really saw in Brandon what you got, that one end and around that he did that showed his speed, shows why we need to have him vertical, and we need to have him. There's a question in my mind just how much to use him or crossing routes. He needs to be going deep. We need to use that speed. I thought Gallup had a little problems in the game. We've got to get him. He's evolving still. I think I know he gets tired of hearing this, but trying to get on back from where he was because of his injury. But we had good games from our receivers yesterday.
It's interesting. He mentioned Gallup, who may still be dealing with the effects of the torn ACL he suffered. He mentioned Brandon Cooks and the fact that he's tired of him running laterally. He wants him running vertically. No mention of CeeDee Lamb, who had a huge game for him. 7 catches, 117 yards. Fantastic. Is Jerry trying to placate to the media to basically, knowing he's going into a contract year, play down his possible value? Wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't put anything past Jerry the salesman. Fred Villarreal has a pledge, made it back in. What's going on with the Stros? Do they need to hit the road to win? That is a good possibility, but there is an issue with the Astros that is far larger, I think. The Rangers are really good, and I would say they're the better team. They went through a slump when Josh Young got hurt earlier in the year. They held that division lead all year long. All year long. They lost it at the very end of the season. So you could say and be correct in saying that the Rangers have been the better team this year, all year. And you would not be wrong in saying that. The Astros have more postseason experience. But the Rangers have the stronger lineup. The Astros are playing NL ball because of Martin Maldonado, who can't hit to save his life. And they refuse to put Yadier Diaz in because of the, he catches a good game argument and his defensive metrics and his pitch framing, which when you look at the analytics, he's actually awful at all of those things. So his value is, I don't know. So it may be as simple as going on the road, but it may just be they made it to an ALCS for the 7th straight year, but the Rangers are on the come, and they've been on the come, and they've spent a whole ton of money. LPJ Salazar asks, who's better, Houston or Dallas? Come on, man. It's Dallas. Houston's still rebuilding, although great win over the Saints. Fantastic going into the bye at 3-3, which is probably 2 to 3 more wins than most people thought they'd have. And they're only a game back in the division, and their schedule gets really easy moving forward. They finish up against the Panthers and Bucks, but they've still got to play the Colts. They get the Titans twice. They get the Jags again, who they own. Like, the Texans have a chance at the division and making the playoffs, and I wouldn't put that past them. Appreciate y'all for joining me here on Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star. We're going to get you to the Rangers coming up next, with the NLCS coming up next between the Phillies and Diamondbacks right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 San Antonio Sports Star.
Guys, your testosterone level can impact your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Book your testosterone level check at Revive Men's Health San Antonio. They're the local experts with guaranteed treatments for low T and ED. There are no lab fees. All your tests are included, and many patients find Revive more affordable than their insurance deductibles and copays. Book your testosterone level check today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which